What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and before we get started, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. So as a college football fan, in the past 10 years, one of the teams that seemed to always be consistently competing for a Pac-12 championship title and always highly ranked was Stanford. However, in the past few years, they have really fallen off, so we're going to take a closer look at their journey and the journey of Stanford football as in whole. To start, we have to go back to the year 2006. Walt Harris was the head coach of Stanford Cardinals, and he led them to one of the worst records in FBS at an atrocious 1-11. Needless to say, he would be fired after that season, and Stanford was looking for a coach who could rebuild the program and culture surrounding Stanford football. Insert a 43-year-old Jim Harbaugh. This was Harbaugh's first major head coaching job, and it wouldn't be easy. His first year with Stanford, they showed improvement, winning 3 more games than they had the previous year, going 4-8 in 2007. Harbaugh's first conference win would be a huge upset over the number 2 ranked USC Trojans, and this really started to turn some heads in the direction of the Stanford program. The following year, in 2008, Stanford would improve by 1 game, going 5-7, with no real exciting wins. Nonetheless, Harbaugh had increased Stanford wins by a total of 4 games in just 2 years, and he was just getting started. 2009 was a breakout year for Stanford, as they improved to a record of 8-5, including wins over number 24 ranked Washington, number 7 ranked USC, 11 ranked Oregon, and Notre Dame, ending the season with a close loss to Oklahoma in the Sun Bowl. The biggest outcome of this season was the emergence of a young rising star at quarterback named Andrew Luck. In Harbaugh's final year at Stanford, he would lead them to a 12-1 record with wins over USC, Notre Dame, number 15 ranked Arizona, and number 12 ranked Virginia Tech. Starting quarterback Andrew Luck would also finish second in the nation in Heisman votes. Their only loss of the season would be to Oregon, who fell just short of beating a Cam Newton-led Auburn team in the BCS National Championship game that year. After the season, Harbaugh was off to the NFL, and Stanford was once again in need of a new head coach. After assessing all their options, Stanford decided to go with Stanford alum and 4-year offensive coordinator David Shaw. This would be David Shaw's first major head coaching job, but he was in a pretty familiar atmosphere, as he had just been the offensive coordinator for the past 4 years, so there wasn't a huge expected drop-off. This was mainly due to the fact that they had the Heisman runner-up returning for his junior season to start at quarterback, and once again, Andrew Luck would not disappoint, finishing second in the Heisman voting once again. And as a team, Stanford would go 11-2 with wins over Washington, USC, and Notre Dame. However, that one hump they still couldn't get over was Oregon, who beat them by 23 points at home. And to close out the season, Stanford would lose a heartbreaker to number 3 Oklahoma State in the Fiesta Bowl. And coming into the 2012 season, we were really going to see if Stanford was here to stay or if it was just a 2-season fluke with Andrew Luck. After losing so much key production from the previous 2 seasons, David Shaw would have to exhibit a brilliant year of coaching for Stanford to contend for a Pac-12 title. Coming into the season, Stanford was only ranked 21st in the country. But that would change very soon, as they would upset the number 2 ranked USC Trojans once again. Stanford would go on to finish the season with a 12-2 record, winning the Pac-12 championship. This season included wins against number 13 Oregon State, number 13 UCLA twice, and a huge win over number 2 USC, and finally beating Oregon, who was ranked number 1 in the polls when they played. Their 2 losses, however, came to Washington and Notre Dame. Notre Dame ended up losing into the national championship game against Alabama, so not a bad loss at all. Stanford would also go on to win the Rose Bowl this year, solidifying their national relevancy. In 2013, Stanford would go 11-3 and win the Pac-12 once again. However, they would conclude the season by losing the Rose Bowl game to Michigan State and Mark D'Antonio. And in 2014, Stanford went 8-5, which is a very prominent drop in production. However, Christian McCaffrey was able to lead the Stanford team to a 12-2 record in 2015. This season also consisted of a Pac-12 championship and a Rose Bowl win against Iowa Hawkeyes. In 2016, Stanford would have yet another successful season, going 10-3, and capping the year off with a Sun Bowl victory. 2017, however, was the beginning of the end for Stanford, as they had a very shaky season. That would have looked a lot worse on paper if the Pac-12 hadn't been so bad. Stanford would go 9-5, still managing to win the Pac-12 North, but this was only because of the weakness of their division. And although Bryce Love did an excellent job replacing Christian McCaffrey and he put up Heisman-type numbers, McCaffrey's versatility in the pass game was very much missed. The 2018 season started off with a bang as Stanford was able to upset USC and beat Oregon and even reach their way into the top 10, but that didn't last for long after getting embarrassed back-to-back weeks by Utah and Notre Dame. Stanford would spend the rest of the season unranked, finishing with a 9-4 record. This mediocre season for Stanford was largely in part because teams started game planning for Bryce Love, and along with injuries, he could never find his rhythm as a running back. And in 2019, the wheels just totally fell off for Stanford. With Bryce Love gone and starting QB KJ Costello injured, the Stanford Cardinals went 4-8, getting blown out by pretty much every quality team they played, with the exception of their upset win over Washington. And that leads us to where we are today. We are approaching the 2020 college football season, and David Shaw has been able to recruit well, having the 21st ranked recruiting class in the nation and the third best in the Pac-12. But with all the uncertainty around this program regarding the QB position, I think it will be a long time till we see Stanford competing with Oregon for the Pac-12 titles and consistently in the top 10 in the polls. With that being said, thank you for watching this video, and please leave a like and subscribe for more videos.